Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from, wherever you are in the world that you're joining us from today. I see some people are already using our chat feature. Kudos to you for noticing that our chat feature is back on. So I'll give you a few seconds or maybe a minute or two just to let everyone get into the live broadcast before we get started. So you can go ahead and say hello. Hello, everyone. Clarissa, hello. Eliphas, hello. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Wonderful, wonderful. I see you guys are using that chat feature really well. It's really good to see you all. Oh, I see someone from Kenya. I was actually in Kenya earlier this year in July. Oh my gosh, wonderful people. The food, delicious. I definitely want to go back. All right, all right. So I see some more people are coming in. We have a good number, I believe. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, welcome everyone to another one of our this month of September. If we haven't met yet, my name is Melissa Ellington. I am an international recruiter here at Health Carousel International. And whether you're brand new to the broadcast or you've been with us for a while, welcome. We're so glad that you are here with us. And for those that are new, each month we bring together international nurses like you to help prepare you for your move to the United States. So, whether you're just starting your journey or you're already a part of our Health Carousel family, we welcome you. So now like I said earlier, we have our chat feature on today, so you can definitely use it throughout the live broadcast. But please make sure not to post any of your personal information. Again, do not share any of your personal information in the chat. All right. Thank you, Evans. I'll definitely love to go back to Kenya. Thank you for the invite again. And speaking of that, I see that some people are putting in where they're coming from. I see Uganda, Nigeria, the Nepal. Oh my gosh, wonderful. I don't see, well, I was born in Jamaica. If you didn't know, I'm not seeing any of my Caribbean cousins on here. Maybe they're taking a little while to come on. But as you come in, guys, continue to put in the chat where you're coming from. Oh, I see the Philippines as well. Hello. Also, in addition to the chat feature being on, we have some new features to add as well. We have a Q&A feature where you can send in your questions during each segment. We'll do our best to answer them as many as we can. We also have polls, which we'll be asking throughout the live broadcast. And finally, a survey. At the end of today's session, we will be sending out a survey so that you can share your feedback. We love to hear from our nurses, our healthcare professionals. So if you have questions after today's session ends, you can simply reply to the email where you'll receive a recording of the broadcast. And if you're not yet a part of our program, you can reach directly out to a recruiter for help. If you're already working with us, then you can reach out to your international program associate or your deployment advocate for guidance. All of the segments we're going over today are designed with one goal in mind. It is to support you through every stage of your US journey. Our team is here to provide you with a full circle of support, and you'll see that throughout each segment. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. To kick off today's broadcast, we're starting with one of our favorite segments, Employee of the Month. I'm joined by my colleague Presley from our International Employee Supervisor team, who's here to help us celebrate our incredible nurses making a difference.
Good morning, Melissa.
Hi, Presley. Thank you for joining us today. What good news do you bring?
Absolutely, lots of great news. Thank you again for having me. So, every month we take time to honor our international healthcare professionals who are going above and beyond in their roles and living out Healthcare Cell's mission of improving lives and making healthcare work better. Before we reveal August winners, let's take a moment to recognize all our outstanding nominees. Please join me in congratulating Dorothy Joyce, Jarrell, Ginger, Ian, Dinah, Dorcas, Nicole, and Kimberly Ann. Each of you were nominated for your incredible dedication, professionalism, and the heart you bring to your work. We're so proud of all that you're doing in your communities. And now I'm thrilled to announce August employees of the month are, can I please get a drum roll wherever we are? And these are Ian D and Dorcas B. Congratulations to our August employees of the month. Now let's take some more few moments to shine a light on what makes each of these nurses so special. Let's start with Dorcas B. Dorcas first heard about Health Carousel from a friend already in the program, and what stood out to her was the prompt communication and consistent support she received every step of the way. She said she never felt alone in the journey to becoming a US RN. Since beginning her career in the US, Dorcas has learned some powerful lessons. She reminds us that there are no smart questions. Asking is how we learn every day. She's also seen firsthand the value of being a supportive team player, lending a hand even when it's not convenient, and how that kindness comes back when you need support yourself. Winning Health Carousel's International's Employee of the Month is incredibly meaningful to Dorcas. She shared that it's an encouragement to keep going, a recognition that even the small contributions she makes for her patients and colleagues truly matter. And when it comes to American food, Dorcas has a clear favorite. Anything from Chick-fil-A, especially with that Chick-fil-A sauce. Now, let's talk about Ian. Ian shared that his journey with Health Carousel gave him hope when he was close to giving up on his American dream. What inspired him most was seeing how the program supports nurses through every step. From exams like the NCLEX and IELTS, to immigration, to arriving in the US, he said he never felt alone because there was always a knowledgeable team walking beside him. Starting his career in the US wasn't easy, especially after becoming comfortable in Belgium. But Ian's biggest lesson has been the value of stepping outside of your comfort zone. He discovered that growth, confidence, and new opportunities come when you push through fear and embrace challenges. He told us that migrating to the US has truly been one of the best decisions he's ever made. Winning Health Carousel International's Employee of the Month would be a special recognition for Ian. He loves his job and says that helping patients every day while being able to provide for himself is already a win. Being honored for those simple daily contributions makes the experience even more meaningful. And as for his favorite American food, Ian says nothing beats a Costco hot dog. Unfortunately, Dorcas couldn't be with us, but we're honored to share her story and celebrate everything she's achieved. However, we are really excited to be joined by Ian today.
Woo!
Awesome. Congratulations to Dorcas and Ian. This is a great recognition for both of them. Hi, Ian.
Hello, how are
Hello.
you guys?
Doing well.
We
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
thank you, Ian, for taking the time out of your schedule to be with us this morning, afternoon, evening, wherever everyone is. And so we would love to get to know more about you of winning the August Employee of the Month at Health Carousel. So we do got a few more questions to ask you so that we get to know you more personally. So the first question is, what does winning Employee of the Month mean to you, Ian?
Well, it's shocking actually because I've never had any recognition in my life, and I think here that's the good thing about here. I mean, I was just doing my job, and I'm glad that somebody saw it or recognized it. But it's nice. It's a nice feeling.
Awesome. Well, we're so honored that we are the first to give you such a great recognition, and we appreciate all that you do, Ian. Your hard work goes unnoticed. Now, our next question is, what was the biggest cultural adjustment you had to make when you moved to the US?
I mean, I've lived in Europe for 13 years, so it was kind of hard because I know there's a similarity because it's the first world country, but at the end of the day, there are really, I mean, with the system of school and adjusting to work, I never thought it was that hard. Tell you frankly, because I was I was really shocked actually, and at the first few weeks that I was here, I was telling myself, why did I do this? But at the end of the day, hard work pays off. So I mean, as long as you are doing this, you're doing something that you love, then at the same time you are not doing any harm to the patient. You're just helping them, and you're helping the team to make to succeed. And with my knowledge and experience that I had, it really helps me a lot. And eventually, they will learn to trust you, and your work's gonna be easier. And because you're just doing something that will help everybody. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So yeah. So and I think the biggest culture shock that I had was how do you call this? It's the way it is. You know, I mean, it's kind of hard, but it's the adjustment that I had, but it's fine. I mean, I live with it. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing. Moving to a new country, a new system, a new area. I've been through that myself. I personally lived in Spain for a whole semester while I was in college, and the language was a different barrier for me to push through. And so I can resonate with you on that. And I'm sure it's giving hopes to our healthcare professionals that will love to, finally move here and assimilate into the system. So thank you for sharing. Our last question would be, what advice would you give to our fellow healthcare professionals who are still waiting to arrive, especially as they prepare for both the workplace and life in the US?
Um, my greatest advice is just to be patient and gain more, gain experience as much as you can because you'll really need it here. And at the same time, health carousel, if you are in a health carousel program, they'll help you from A to Z. So it's really nice to have somebody who knows better than you are, who just, I mean, I've read so much things, and I've waited for this American dream for 19 years since I graduated. And I think patients will really have really pays off. I mean, and it was not easy at the end. It was not easy to start with, but at the end of the day, you will answer all the questions. I have so many friends that who are waiting and knocking their doors, but doesn't take the action of doing it. You know what I mean? And there are people who are listening maybe here in the I mean my friends also who are willing to do it but doesn't take an action on it. You know what I mean? You just need to take an action in it, take the exams, be patient for it, and everything will come into his time, and the process will go. It will come to your time.
Wow. Thank you, Ian, for your piece of advice. It goes a long way. Patience. Wow, 19 years for your American journey to finally come into fruition. That is a different level of patience. Well, I really hope that our fellow healthcare professionals that are in the waiting are encouraged that their time will surely come. And we do have our full support circle here at Health Carousel, where the well-being of our healthcare professionals mean the world to us. And so you have a support system financially, mentally, all areas, aspects of your life. This is what we're here for. We have benefits here to support you. You have a great team backing you, our credentialing team, our clinical team, your international employee supervisor, you name it. So Healthcare Cell is in it till the end, and we're hoping that our healthcare professionals in the waiting do not give up, because Healthcare Cell is not giving up on you. And so thank you so much, Ian, for joining us. We are so proud to have you as part of the Healthcare Cell family. Congratulations again to you, Ian, and to Dorcas. And we know your impact is only just the beginning. Thank you all again. And now back to you, Melissa.
Thank you.
Thank you, Presley, and congratulations again to both Ian and Dorcas. This was just a wonderful time. It is definitely my favorite segment, part of our live broadcast. And we're so inspired by everything that all of our healthcare professionals have accomplished and the strength and the heart that you guys bring to your work. And I know I'm truly inspired. I take a little tidbits of what Dorcas and Ian said. Dorcas said to communicate, and Ian said to get out of your comfort zone. So these are definitely some, words that of inspiration for me, and I hope it is for you. And I see you guys going off in the chat congratulating our employees of the month, so thank you so much for sharing in on that as well. I do want to share with you something new that we have done. We now publish blogs that feature our employee of the month nominees and winners. Yeah, so it's another way to celebrate your stories, highlight your journeys, and inspire other healthcare professionals preparing for their move to the US. So be sure to check these out after today's broadcast to read more about our amazing honorees. It is time for this month's Live in the USA segment, where we dive into real life logistics and lifestyle questions that matter most as you prepare to move and settle in the United States. One of the most important but often confusing, I know for me, parts of life in the US is understanding insurance. Today, we're going to break it down in a way that is simple, clear, and practical. We'll cover what types of benefits and insurance you can expect as part of your employment, how it fits into your monthly budget, and why insurance matters even if you don't think you'll need it right away. Join me in welcoming my team member, Amanda, Manager of Compensation and Benefits. She's here to make this complex topic a lot easier to understand. Hi, Amanda. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to join this live broadcast.
Yes, we definitely want you to give us Insurance 101, so we know what that looks like for us here in the United States. However, before we get into that that topic, I want our viewers to take a moment to answer the question on the screen. What part of the US insurance do you find most confusing? All right. Guys, you can take a moment to answer that. Let's see what you guys think about the US health insurance, whether it be like premium, what premium means, how that works, whether it be like out of pocket costs. I know that one confused me a bit, especially with the copay. So if you're on your phone or you're using a laptop, there should be like a poll tab that you may be able to see. Oh, I see some of you have already found it. Thank you. There should be a poll. You can go ahead and start putting in your votes, premiums, deductibles, what copay means, coverage details. Okay, Amanda, I'm seeing that most are a little confused about deductibles. We're going to be talking about that today, yeah?
Absolutely. And you know what? It doesn't matter where you're from. Even most American citizens find this to be very confusing. So we get questions all the time. But we will absolutely be covering all of those topics today.
Okay, go ahead. So it looks like deductibles was the winner. We had close to 50% that's saying that they didn't really understand deductibles. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor, Amanda, to give us Insurance 101.
All right. So first off, we just want to talk about what insurance is and why does it matter. In the US, insurance helps protect you from paying large medical bills out of pocket. You pay a small amount each month called a premium, and in return, the insurance company helps cover the cost of your care. Even if you're relatively healthy and rarely visit a doctor, insurance gives you that financial protection in case something unexpected happens, like an accident, an emergency, or an illness. That's why it's critical, or it is a critical part of living in the US. Now, most of our healthcare professionals, most Americans get insurance through their employer here in the US. At Health Carousel, you'll be offered coverage as part of your employment, and it's an important piece of your full circle of support. Employer-based insurance is often more affordable than getting coverage on your own because the employer shares in the costs, and it also gives you access to group rates and broader coverage. When you're building your monthly budget, you'll want to just plan for your insurance premium because it's usually a fixed amount that's going to be taken out of your paycheck. So what does insurance cover? Your health insurance plan will typically cover things like your preventive care, so any kind of, just physicals or any kind of doctor's visits like that, any kind of doctor's visits when you're sick, emergency care, hospitalizations, and prescription medications. Some plans even offer dental and vision options. When we talk about insurance, you'll hear some common terms like the premium. So that again is what you're going to pay out of your paycheck and it's just the cost of having insurance. There's also the deductible. That's what you're going to pay before your insurance starts covering costs. A copay is a fixed fee for certain services like going to the doctor. And then an out-of-pocket maximum, that's the most that you're going to pay in the calendar year before your insurance covers everything at 100%. Understanding these terms helps you make smart choices and avoid unexpected expenses. So how do you choose the right plan for you? During your onboarding or during open enrollment, you'll select a plan based on your personal needs. You'll consider things like how often you go to the doctor, whether you have a family to cover, or if you need regular prescriptions. But don't worry, our team is available to walk you through the options so that you can choose the coverage that's best for you. So the next part is just how do you budget for the insurance? Now, again, health insurance is that fixed monthly expense. So it needs to be included in your financial planning. It's just as important as budgeting for your housing, your transportation, and your food. Your monthly premium, while it is fixed, the amount is going to depend on what kind of plan you enroll in, who you have covered. So if you have a spouse on the plan or children, and planning for this in advance will help you stay on track financially. It's a key part of how we support you through your transition, making sure that you not only have access to healthcare, but that you're prepared for the cost of it as well. But health insurance is not all. In addition to that health and medical insurance, many of our healthcare professionals who work for us have access to a wide range of benefits, and it's all part of our full circle of support. So these include things like our dental and vision coverage. We have retirement savings options through our 401k. We have life insurance. We have paid time off. We also have mental health support and wellness resources. These benefits are designed to support every part of your US journey, not just your work, but your health, your financial future, and your family life as well. When we say full circle support, we mean that we help you succeed in all areas, not just on assignment, but in your home and beyond. So before we close, let me leave with 3 takeaways from today's discussion. Even if you rarely visit the doctor, insurance gives you peace of mind by covering those unexpected emergencies and large expenses. It's one of the most important tools to protect both your health and your finances in the US. Employer-based insurance is the most common and the most effective option in the US. At Health Carousel, this is part of the support that you'll receive with guidance every step of the way. From dental and vision to retirement savings and paid time off, with your benefits extend beyond medical coverage. They are designed to support your whole journey professionally, financially, and personally.
Awesome. Thank you, Amanda. And I wanted to share with our viewers and yourself, a little bit of what having insurance versus not having insurance can kind of look like. So when I first got here in the United States, I didn't really understand what insurance was because I was still under my mother's insurance. So in the US, I had to learn all of these terms, but it was only after I had a hospital visit that I saw, oh, I definitely do need insurance because this bill is way out of hand for what I went in for. So I have insurance now, and I've never looked back. So health insurance is definitely key to ensuring that we cover our medical costs, whether you go now or you go later. Just having it on hand is very important. So thank you so much for breaking down insurance for us, Amanda. Thank you so much, and I hope that all of our healthcare professionals understood it more. You will have this as a recording after you will have this recording. I apologize, after this the broadcast, so you can go over it again. And if you are already a part of our program, please reach out to your current assignee for more information. And if you're not part of our program, please reach out to a recruiter for help as well. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Awesome. The biggest week in nursing is almost here. Nursing Careers Week 2005 is happening November 10th through the 14th, 2005, and registration is now open. This free global virtual event is built for nurses everywhere, whether you're at the bedside, leading a team, just starting out, or charting your next big move. It is presented by Health Carousel. So, Nursing Careers Week is here to support and inspire nurses around the world. You'll hear empowering sessions led by nurse leaders and peers and walk away with inspiration and clarity for whatever is next in your career. And if you've already registered, thank you. You're in for a powerful week. This year, we're offering two $5,000 scholarships. Yes, two nurses will walk away with game changing financial support for their career goals. Plus, there will be daily giveaways throughout the week. So if you're still thinking about registering, here's what you'll get: expert led sessions that inspire and give you real tools to grow, stories from nurses like you who've navigated change and found success. The 20 plus sessions will be available on demand. So if you miss the session, don't worry. You can watch the recording anytime. Thousands of nurses are already signed up, so don't miss your chance to be part of this global movement. Head to nursingcareersweek.com and register today. So again, head to nursingcareersweek.com and register today. You may be seeing or a link here on our screen going across. It's free, it's inspiring, and it is built for you. It's time for our Nursing in the USA segment, where we provide you with insight into what it's really like to work as a nurse in the US and how Health Carousel supports you through every stage of your journey. For this month, we're focusing on a very important topic: the placement process. This is the step where you learn what to expect as you transition into your first US assignment, how to prepare, and how to make the most out of your new role. To guide us through this, we have a pre recorded conversation with two of our experts: Ryan Alex, an international deployment advocate, and Earl Dalton, a chief clinical officer here at Health Carousel. They'll be discussing how placement fits into your overall immigration journey and how it helps set you up for long-term success. So let's go ahead and hear from Ryan and Earl.
Hey everybody, it's Earl Dalton. I'm the Chief Clinical Officer here at Health Carousel, and today I'm joined by my good friend Ryan. You want to just take a second, Ryan, and introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Ryan Alex. I am an international deployment advocate here at Health Carousel. I've been here for 2 years, and I'm happy to join you today.
Well said, Ryan, and it's a treat for everybody to get a chance to talk to you. Ryan has been doing this for quite some time and is quite the subject matter expert, and we're lucky, Ryan, to have you join the conversation today. So thank you for that. And today, folks, our discussion will center around your immigration journey. We're going to look at job placement, so what to expect and how to prepare, so that you can maximize and get the most out of your experience as you work with Health Carousel. So let's just talk for a minute about what's happening in healthcare largely today. So within the U.S. healthcare system, it's a very unique time in that there are a couple of things colliding that just make for a great U.S. job market for nursing. So first off, there is a massive nursing shortage. And in fact, the nursing shortage isn't just affecting the United States, it's affecting folks around the world. But certainly the U.S. is not immune to this. So what we have happening here is that there is a retirement phenomenon where nurses of tenure, nurses who've been nurses for a long, long time, are exiting in really record numbers around the United States. So in the United States, when you turn 65, you exit the marketplace and you move into your retirement years. And we have about 10,000 65-year-olds getting created every single day. And so lots of those folks are nurses. And so we're seeing this mass exit out of the nursing profession from those who are just at the age where they can go enjoy retirement. So that makes for a great time for nurses to come to America. It collides on a period of time where hospitals are also struggling to meet budgetary concerns and find a way to staff hospitals with rising costs on all sides, and in many cases loss of reimbursement, less reimbursement from the government payers. And so hospitals have a very complex system to balance. But certainly from a nursing perspective, what we are seeing is a continued strong support and need for additional nurses in nursing roles. And so let's just talk for a minute with Ryan here, now that we've got his undivided attention, around how does your placement work, why the timing matters, and what can you do, nurses, to make sure that when it's your time to get selected or to continue to hold on to your placement, what those things look like. I think the audience will find this incredibly helpful. But let me start with when in our process do nurses get placed? Let's enlighten the crew on that.
For sure. So placement normally happens after you become what's called documentarily qualified. So that means your I-140 has been approved, you've submitted your DS-260s, the NVC has been able to look through all of your documents, and you're good to go. Now, the timeline can look a little bit different. It used to happen a lot earlier once you were documentarily qualified, but due to retrogression, sometimes it can take a little bit longer. So it's all the same steps as it used to be. It's just that the selection process is happening closer to your arrival once you've kind of made it through the process of retrogression and kind of navigated those challenges.
Gotcha. And Ryan, so there's a lot of immigration terms inside of the things that you just said there. If people are confused about that, because I'm often confused about that, right? It's hard to keep that stuff straight. Is there someone they can reach out to sort of get the clarity on what those terms mean and where they're at specifically?
For sure. So your current assignee is going to be a great resource for you. We're happy to help you with any questions you have. As an IDA, these are terms I use every single day. So I am kind of the subject matter expert on what documentarily qualified means. I can give you a background on what that could look like for you and the processes and how that works for you. So if you ever have any questions about these, terms, feel free to reach out. We're happy to help you out because it is a little bit confusing.
Well, your street credibility with me just went way. It's hard for me to sort of keep track of all those things, but
For sure.
that's a great answer. So, Ryan, let's talk a little bit about placement. So, how does a placement work in terms of a nurse connecting to a hospital? Do you have jobs that you're offering people, or is it we're connecting people? Explain for the audience how a connection to a placement works.
For sure. That's a really good question. So there is just a couple of misconceptions I kind of want to talk about. So one would be the idea that healthcare sells a hospital and we have jobs for you in that way. What we're doing is we're working with partner facilities and we're placing you on an assignment at a facility. Healthcare sells not a hospital, but we are partnering with you to get you placed in a facility that fits your needs and also the hospital's needs as well.
Right.
The other misconception is that it's an automatic assignment. We get to work with you and the hospital to kind of match your needs. So we're taking into an account what the hospital's needs are at that specific time. And then we also use your own preferences. So those could be things like unit, what experience do you have and what units have you worked in? Maybe location preferences. Maybe you have family in a specific area and you want to be there. Or maybe you really, really like warm weather, so you want to be in an area that matches that. And so there are a lot of different variables. And so we're taking all of those variables, matching you with a facility that can fit those, and then putting your resume up with the facility. And they're going to decide who they would like to interview. They're going to interview to make sure you're going to be a good match with the facility. And that's how you're placed on assignment. So there are a lot of different variables that can go in there. And you also have some control on those variables, like your preferences. And then that's how we're going to match you with the facility to make sure that you and the facility are both happy at the end of the day with your placement.
That's great, Ryan. That is great. So let's just dive a little deeper on this question, Ryan. In terms of hospitals, do they have an endless supply of jobs, or how does the job market go? How do we connect people to those hospitals and those jobs?
Right. So every hospital has specific needs. So at one point in time, they may need a ton of med-surg nurses, and at another point in time, maybe they need a little bit less. And so each hospital has their own specific needs. And like I said, different units have different needs. So for example, if you're a NICU nurse, there might not be as many options for you because that's not as high in demand as, say, ICU or med-surg. Mm-hmm. So those are some things that can come into play when working with the facilities and interviewing with facilities, because they may not need a bunch of NICU nurses. They really need med-surg nurses at that point. And so matching that experience with the facility's needs is going to kind of determine, where you're going to be able to be able to be placed and what the facility needs from us at that time.
Love it. Love it. That's a great answer, Ryan. So I'm connecting here in my mind. I want you to connect this for the audience. So
Sure.
Depending on the setting of nursing that you're doing, there are more or less needs based on the size of the setting that you're applying to. For example, in your example here, the NICU nurses they just require less of them, right? Tell me how that factors into someone's preference choice, and how that might limit them even further if they have, really narrow selections, right? I think that's good for the group.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, we're taking that experience and then also what your preferences are. So one thing that can really help with selection is flexibility. How flexible are you? How flexible are you on location? How flexible are you on units based on your own experience? And so the more flexible you are, obviously, the more options you're going to have. For example, if you only want to be a PACU nurse and you only want to be in a specific area of Nebraska, I don't know. Those are very specific preferences that you have. And it's going to make it a lot harder because maybe this specific area of Nebraska doesn't have a need for a PACU nurse at that time, right? So the more narrowed down your preferences are, the harder it can be to find an assignment, and it can also take a little bit longer if you're really gung-ho on a specific area or specific unit. So one thing that can happen, because we really do want to get you matched, is if we don't have a specific match for everything you're looking for, we might go with a second best option. And that's going to be something that your current assignee is going to discuss with you and see if that could be something you'd be open to as well. So there are a lot of things that go into a selection, but flexibility is going to be a really big one on all different aspects, location, unit, anything like that is going to be really important to kind of look into and decide, what's going to be the most important to you, and maybe what can you give a little bit so that you can have the most options to find something that's going to work for you.
Yeah, great answer, Ryan. Yeah, I think the big piece there people would feel, I think, would be the timing piece, right? If you're holding out for a very specific set of circumstances to play out, then that's fine, but it would affect timing, right? It could take
For sure. For
a
sure.
long
It can take a lot longer
Yeah.
if you have those specific ones. So
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. Great advice for the team here. So Ryan, tell me about selection, right? And you've already pointed out like Health Carousel is not a hospital, right? We have like in terms of Health Carousel being a provider to patients, we don't provide care to patients.
Right.
Hospitals do, right? And we help connect people to those jobs. But what influences a nurse getting selected by a hospital?
So, again, there's there's so many things that can come into play. So one thing that could, like I said, the hospital needs, can come into play with that. What the hospital needs, if they need med surgists, if they need ICU nurses. And then there's also a lot of things on the candidate side. So what is your experience? Where have you worked? Are you currently working? That's going to be something that's also going to come into play too. Hospitals are looking for nurses with recent experience. And then also, like I said, kind of along the same lines, candidate readiness. Is your resume up to date? Is your clinical experience up to date? And again, flexibility is going to be a big thing there. How flexible are you, and how ready are you for this assignment? And then also just kind of retrogression timelines as well. We want to have a better idea of a time that you could be arriving before a facility is going to select you, because what facilities are looking at is their real-time needs in that moment. And so, the further out from your priority date and you are, and the longer retrogression period there is, facilities might not want to select you at that time because you're not going to be able to fill a real-time need they have.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Ryan, you mentioned resume, and my term for this is always like you need to be a very active participant in your career,
Sure.
and making sure that your skills are up to date and that sort of thing. Tell me about in terms of U.S. tradition, and sort of the customs of U.S. How important is the resume as a vehicle to discuss just all of your talents and those sorts of things, and why we should have nurses keep that up?
For sure. Yeah. Your resume is extremely important. So that is going to be the first thing a hospital is going to see when they hear your name, right? The resume is going to be in front of them and they're going to be seeing your experience. So it's going to be really important that if you were to change positions, that's going to be updated. So real-time experience is on that resume. Also highlight as much as you can. Show the things that you have worked hard. Obviously, we're super excited to get you here to the US and continue your career here, but you've worked so hard in your career now. What can you show in your resume that can set you apart from everybody else, so that you can get that good selection? And so it's extremely important that it's up to date, that you're highlighting all of the great things that you have worked so hard for, because again, that's the first thing this hospital is going to see when they hear about you, and you want to make a really good first impression.
Yeah, great answer, Ryan. You're absolutely right. What becomes who you are, in terms of the initial steps with a hospital is what you are on your resume. And so, as you read it in the specialty you're in, do you put the most attractive version of yourself forward on the paper? Because that is the piece of paper that the hospital is going to look up when they're deciding on whether or not right you might be for them. And so. So that's great advice, Ryan. I think that is incredibly well said. So do they, as people think about their resume and, advice on, even interviewing those sorts of things, but sort of keeping up their career, do they have to handle that on their own, or do we offer any help in those sorts of things? Because I don't even know if I know where to start, right? I can't remember the last time.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. It can definitely feel overwhelming. What do I put down? How do I make myself look as great as I can and showcase the amazing things I have done? You have your current assignee. So if you have an IDA, you can reach out to them and ask questions. We're always happy to help you out. We want to make sure you look as great as you can, because we want to make sure that you're getting a great assignment and that you're, showing up the best possible way you can, right? And we also have a clinical team here that we can reach out to and talk with, our Quinn team. And they're going to be able to give us great advice on how to showcase specifically nursing experience, right? And which is a great thing that we offer. And so if that was something you wanted to get connected with, we can always help with that. And we can always reach out on your behalf to make sure that we're showcasing you the best possible. So you're getting from a nurse exactly what they want to see in the setting. So those are just two really, really good resources that we have. And we're always happy to get you connected with those resources along your journey.
Well said, Ryan. Very, very well said. Yes. So, nurses, if you take nothing else away, right? No, you're not in this alone. Resume building and that sort of thing is not something necessarily nurses do every single day. But we've got a team of experts here, right? Ryan on out, right? That can connect you to people that can certainly, I think, help in that sort of place. Ryan, let's get into. I'm going to come back to flexibility in a minute, but we've talked lots about that, and you've done a really nice job of talking about the importance of being flexible in your choices and preferences as it applies to where you'd like to work in the United States. But let's move over and have a discussion around. Okay, so I've locked a placement, and right, and I think I know where I'm going, but then that deployment is going to change. Right, for one reason or another, the hospital has changed their mind, and then you're not coming anymore. Why does that happen to nurses that are locked on assignments?
Yeah, so things can change. Hospitals can change, their budgets. They can change that they're filling needs internally. There's a lot of different things that can happen with a hospital. It's really important to remember it doesn't mean you're not coming to the US. That's not what that means. What that means is that, we might have to look at alternate placements for you. And a lot of times what that can come down to is there's a couple different things. So like I said, it could be the hospital side. It could also be that we have changes in retrogression, and it's not moving forward the way we thought it was. And the hospital, the timeline doesn't match what the hospital is. Also, sometimes candidates decide that that's not where they want to go. And so they decide that they want to be unselected from a facility and reselected elsewhere, whether that's because family moved or they have, different needs or changes that happen in their life. Things happen. We understand. And that's where flexibility comes into play. Okay. So the great thing is that we have a large network of facilities that we work with. So while, maybe you decide that you don't want to be in Nebraska because your family moved, and you have to go somewhere on the East Coast, we have a wide variety and a great network of facilities. And we also have a great internal team who's going to work with you and also update those preferences, help you update those resumes to make sure that we are placing you on an assignment that you're happy with and that matches the facility needs. So if any sort of changes, first of all, we're going to be here to support you in whatever way that looks like for you. And then also, the more flexible you are, the better chances you are to get selected at another great facility.
Yeah, that's great, Ryan. And I think you would agree, and maybe I'll get you to give just a couple of words on this. People shouldn't internalize this about them. Right. These are sort of, right. It's a disassociated thing from who you are as a person, right? This is a business decision often.
For sure.
For the side of the hospital.
Definitely. And it's important to remember that they chose you, they wanted you to come. But unfortunately, certain things can happen like retrogression. It's totally out of our control. It's not something anybody enjoys happening. But things can happen, and so it's important to remember that we've got your back, and we will make sure that we find a good facility for you, regardless of what happens.
Great answer. Great answer. Ryan, so for nurses that are ready for selection or are selected, how do they stay ready? What are some sustaining behaviors that they should do to make sure that they continue to be ready, either for a placement or that they continue to be ready for the placement that they already have secured?
Totally, totally. So one of the biggest things is keeping your resume updated. Again, if you ever have any, unit changes, maybe you're a charge nurse now, and that's an exciting thing you get to share with us. We want you to update that and make sure your resume looks as best as it can at any time. And so again, feel free to reach out to any of us or your current assignee to make sure that we have that updated for you. We're always happy to help you out, and we'll be excited for you with any career change, when you're progressing in your career. Along the same lines, continue to keep progressing in your career. If you're able to move up to that charge nurse role, we want you to do that. That's great experience. It's going to help create an even better transition here, gaining more experience, wherever you are, to again have a better chance of securing a great assignment here. Again, we'll update that on your resume and continue to keep learning in whatever way that works possible. We are going to provide you, modules and we'll help you out with that along the process. But find different ways to again advance your career and continue learning in your career. It's going to create, like I said, a great transition. The more you learn, the more you know, the more experience you have. So continue to keep doing all of those things. If you do all of those things, you're going to be set to find a great assignment.
Yeah, well said, Ryan. I always say be an active participant in your career, right? And
sure.
and nurses know this well. If you didn't document it, you didn't do it, right? So document
Right.
your right in your resume.
Totally.
Ryan, just so that we overstate it, and you've done a nice job of explaining it through, but a nurse applying for a job in the health carousel program, are they singularly the nurse that's up for that job and no one else is competing? Or are there other people competing for the same job for the hospital at the resume review portion?
There's going to be other people who are going to be, competing for that position. There's going to be other people who are going to be interviewing as well. And so that's why it's really important to put your best foot forward in those scenarios. So again, updating that resume, and then also we're here to help you out with interview prep too. That's a very daunting thing. And so reaching out to your current assignee, we're happy to provide you with resources and help you along the way so you know exactly what to expect in that interview, and how to show up the best way you can. It is a competitive process, but we're here to make sure that you show up the best version of you to make sure that you get that assignment, right?
Yeah, well said. And so, again, I think the audience, right, to overstate it, right, we've got tons of hospital partners in all corners of the United States, right, from one coast to the other and from north to south. So we've got tons of partners. Right. I want you to just go back to a minute about the impact of being flexible and open as opposed to having really specific pieces. Let's just sort of close out on that, and any final words that you might have for the audience as we close out today. But I think those are really important parts that, if you're not in it, you don't really, may not draw those conclusions. And I think those are important. So why don't you just sort of end for us on a couple of pieces of advice, but if you could mention again the importance of the flexibility, I think that'd be helpful.
Definitely. So, like I've said it, flexibility is so important. Like we have facilities located all across the U.S. And again, certain facilities are going to have higher demands in certain units than others, and depending on your experience, that's going to kind of depend on how you match with those specific facilities. And so creating a wider, casting a larger net of possibilities is always important. It's also important to keep in mind the U.S. is big and there's so much opportunity here. There's places you've never heard of that are great places to live, right? And so it's really important to do your research to kind of learn how you can expand what you're looking for, because there's probably way more opportunities and way more places that could fit what you're looking for than maybe you even understand. And again, we're here to help you out with that. I always love talking with my nurses about the geography of the U.S. and how that works, and the different opportunities and things different areas offer, and maybe places you've never even heard of that could be a great fit. And so again, having a wider net is always going to, give you more opportunity. Maybe it'll help you discover something that you didn't even know of. And it's just going to make sure that you have a wider, just a larger range of opportunities that you can draw from to find the right opportunity for you,
Yeah, no, that's great, Ryan. I think that is great advice. And close to the end here, and I will say this a little tongue in cheek, but Ryan, so they shouldn't reach out to your team. You really don't want to talk to them. You really don't have any advice for them to have. When is it appropriate to reach out to the team? And right, if people are curious about questions around any of this, when is it good, or is it never good? You never want to hear from them, because I know that's that's certainly not how you do this.
I love to hear from my nurses, and I love talking with them. We want to make sure that everything makes sense and that all questions are cleared up. This process can be overwhelming and it can feel scary because there are a lot of things that you might not know. And so always feel free to ask. We're never going to be upset with you if you ask questions. We're always going to want to help you and point you in the right direction and provide you with the right resource to make sure that you feel good about the process. That's one of my biggest things. I want to make sure that you feel good about the process. So any questions, whether it's about facilities, about location, about the process, about immigration, because immigration is so confusing. Feel free, feel free to email us. You always have your check-in calls with your current assignee. If you want to write down a bunch of notes and ask away on those calls, feel free to do so. We want to make sure that everything is cleared up and that you feel good about the process. So we're always here to help you any stage of the journey, even through retrogression. It's tough, but we're here to help you navigate all of those challenges that may be coming towards you, and make sure everything goes smooth and that you have the smoothest transition here to the U.S. as possible.
Well said. And of course, I knew that was going to be your answer. Your team is incredibly passionate about helping nurses that are on the journey. And so I always appreciate that. And folks, we'll end on this. I hope you got a lot out of your immigration journey and the process around job placement. As you can tell, I think it's been a real treat today to get a chance to talk to Ryan, who is one of our subject matter experts on this and lives and breathes this stuff every single day. Ryan, you did a great job, I think, of walking through a lot of the questions there. And I'm sure if folks have other questions, they should reach out to their deployment advocate and get the answers that they need. So, folks, thanks for joining today. It's been a complete pleasure for me to join with Ryan here and have the discussion. And please do reach out if you have any questions. But we'll end it there.
Thank you, Ryan and Earl, for sharing such great insights about the placement process. And so for my viewers, so after watching that super informative video from Ryan and Earl, I want to share a quick poll. Want to pick your brain a bit. Please take a moment to answer the question that you see on your screen. Do you feel confident about finding a nursing job in the U.S.? Remember, if you're using your phone or computer, there should be a poll tab, a tab where you can submit your poll. So go ahead. Okay, wonderful. Seeing that majority of you are saying yes, love that. I'll give you a few more seconds before we close the poll. Ooh, 97% said yes. Ooh, just went up to 98 as I said 97. Okay, good. It's really good to see the numbers going up. So thank you everyone for answering this quick poll. If you are still feeling unsure, I did see a few people say that they were unsure or have any questions, please reach out to your current assignee and they will be able to answer any questions you have. They and the rest of our team at Health Carousel are here to provide you with a full circle of support. We've been mentioning it from the beginning of our broadcast. You heard it again. Through Ryan and Earl. So definitely reach out to your current assignee. And again, if you're not in our program, reach out to your recruiter for help. But I do want to go over a few takeaways, from what Ryan and Earl spoke about. So U.S. hospitals face a major nursing shortage, and this creates job opportunities. Being open to various specialties and location increases the chances of you securing assignments. And number three, keep resumes current. Maintain clinical experience and use available support. So this was such an exciting and meaningful step, in your journey, and it's reassuring to know you have a dedicated team walking beside you. Okay, now it's time for another one of our favorite segments, our featured location. We know many of you are tuning in from different parts of the world preparing for your move to the US. And one of the biggest questions on your mind is likely, where will I live? What is life beyond the hospital? So this month, we are spotlighting Michigan, as you see on your screen, a state known for its beautiful Great Lakes, strong healthcare systems, and diverse communities. From energetic cities like Detroit and Grand Rapids to charming small towns, Michigan offers plenty of opportunity and lifestyle variety. And to walk us through everything Michigan has to offer, please welcome one of our senior account managers here at Health Carousel, Frank Augeber. Frank, welcome. How are you today?
Good, Melissa. Thanks for having me. And hi to everyone watching. Glad to be here and excited to talk about Michigan. It's such a unique state with a little bit of everything: career opportunity, affordable living, and incredible natural beauty. Whether you prefer city life, suburban neighborhoods, or the calm of rural towns, Michigan has a place for you.
Love that. Thank you so much, Frank. But before we dive more into what Michigan has to offer, we're going to do a quick map quiz. So we know that many of you are still getting to know the US geography, so let's help you get oriented. I need a little help sometimes too. So take a look at this map of the United States. In your browser in the poll tab, as I mentioned before, we've added the question, which quadrant do you think Michigan is located in? So please take a moment to answer. Which quadrant do you think Michigan is located in? Frank, you think we should give them a hint?
Maybe not yet. It's test time. Maybe, yeah. I mean, we could give them a hint. Do you have one in mind?
Well, if they know where our headquarter is, then they can. It is like 5 hours from where our state is. Do you think that's a good hint, or should we give them more?
That's a great hint. No, I think that's a great hint.
Okay. If you know where Cincinnati Health Carousel, headquarters is, Michigan is 5 hours away. All right. So the numbers are coming in a bit, and I'm seeing, okay. And the answer is 2. 91% of you said it was 2. Great job, everyone. It's definitely 2. All right. So, Frank, go ahead. Tell us a little bit about Michigan.
Sure. So, like Melissa said, it was in the second quadrant there. Michigan is in the upper Midwest. It's bordered by the Great Lakes and neighboring states like Ohio, where we're residing in now, Indiana, and Wisconsin. It's also just across the water from Canada, making it a truly unique location. And now that you know where Michigan is, let's take a seasonal tour of what it's like to live there year round. So starting with winter, Michigan winters are cold and snowy with temperatures ranging from -9 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius, which is 15 degrees Fahrenheit to 35 degrees Fahrenheit. But with snow comes fun. Residents enjoy skiing, ice skating, and cozy winter nights. On the screen, you're going to see a picture of Ludington North Breakwater Light, a reminder that even in the cold, there's natural beauty everywhere. Moving on, after winter, we move to spring, which brings fresh greenery and blooming flowers with temperatures ranging from 3 degrees Celsius to 18 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit is 37 to 65. On the screen, you're going to see a photo from a secret garden in Mackinac Island, a car-free historic island in Michigan, located in Lake Huron between its upper and lower peninsulas. Moving from spring to summer, summers in Michigan are warm and perfect for outdoor adventures, with temperatures ranging from 15 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit is 60 degrees to 85 degrees. On the screen, you're going to see a picture of White Lake in Whitefall, Michigan, a hub for outdoor recreation and events, offering activities like boating, fishing, swimming in clear waters, and exploring nearby parks and trails. Beautiful picture. Moving on to fall in Michigan, it's breathtaking with temperatures from 5 degrees Celsius to 20 degrees Celsius, which in Fahrenheit is 40 degrees to 68 degrees. The forests glow in brilliant shades of red, orange, and gold. On the screen, you'll see a picture of Portage Lake, one of the premier fishing and boating lakes and a famous spot to enjoy autumn colors. So now that you've seen Michigan's 4 beautiful seasons, let's talk about something just as important: how far your paycheck goes. Michigan's cost of living index is about 92, which means it's 8% below the US average. That makes it an affordable choice compared to many coastal states. The average cost for a 1-bedroom apartment in Michigan is around $1,000 a month, much lower than in bigger states like New York or California. Some of the everyday essentials and some pricing along with that, starting with gas. Gas is about $3.40 a gallon. Milk is about $4.70 a gallon. Bread is about $2.50 per loaf. And then eggs, let's move on to eggs. Eggs are $2 a gallon. So moving on, most people in Michigan drive, but in cities like Detroit and Ann Arbor, they also have public transit options. Traffic is generally moderate and commutes are manageable. But beyond affordability, Michigan has so much to offer, from professional sports in Detroit to vibrant arts and music scenes, cultural festivals, and year-round outdoor recreation. There's something in Michigan for everybody. Healthcare professionals find strong career opportunities here, and families appreciate the welcoming communities, quality schools, and access to both city amenities and outdoor escapes. So thank you to everybody for joining me in exploring Michigan today. I hope this helped you imagine what life could look like in this exciting, affordable, and opportunity-rich part of the United States.
Yeah, thank you so much for that, Frank. This is such a helpful overview of what makes Michigan a great place to live and work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, let's dive into the October Visa Bulletin to help you understand where things stand. Each month, we share the latest update and remind you of steps you can take while you wait. To walk us through everything you need to know, here's Elizabeth, or Associate Director of Immigration and Licensing, to cover the October Visa Bulletin. Hi, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Melissa. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for sharing, taking part in this. So go ahead, give us a little bit about what the October Visa Bulletin looks like and what it means for healthcare professionals.
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm excited to share the October Visa Bulletin with you this month. As you know, or maybe you don't know, and this will be your first time hearing about this, the Visa Bulletin is released once a month by the Department of State. It's released in the middle of the month for the upcoming month. So we are now viewing the October Visa Bulletin. So in the EB2 category, which would apply to physical therapists, if there are any physical therapists on the call, there was decent movement in each category. As you can see, in case this is your first time seeing the Visa Bulletin, there is the employment-based category, 1, 2, 3, etc. And then across the top is all chargeability, China, India, Mexico, Philippines. This is going to be based on your country of birth. So if you were born in the Philippines and you are a registered nurse, you would look at Philippines, EB3. So for the October Visa Bulletin, as I said, in EB2, that would be more for our physical therapists, those with advanced degrees, and the role that they're performing also requires that advanced degree. There was a movement across all countries of approximately 3 months, with China only seeing about a 2.5-month movement. Now for our EB3s, this is going to apply to our registered nurses and our medical technologists. There was some movement for the Philippines. We had approximately a forward movement of 2 months. India and China, they saw a 3-month forward movement, so that was great news. But unfortunately, our all chargeability, this is someone who was born anywhere but China, India, Mexico, Philippines, also referred to as rest of world, there was no movement. And for Mexico, there also was no movement. That was a little disappointing, but we are excited for those who did move forward to 2 to 3 months. So this will be the October Visa Bulletin. So now I know there was a question that came in the chat, and they were asking to explain the difference between two dates, the two different charts. There's a final action date chart, and there is a dates for filing chart. And as you can see on the screen, we have that chart A final action dates for employment-based preference category that we're highlighting. And there is a specific reason for this. The final action dates are the priority dates that the Department of State, the government, is using to proceed with scheduling the embassy interviews for those that are processing outside of the United States or going through what we call the consular process. The chart B, the dates for filing chart, that is specifically reserved for those who are currently in the United States on another, particularly like a non-immigrant work visa. They're here in the United States already working on another type of visa. They have, gone through the immigrant visa process. They have the I-140, and they are going to be applying for what is called adjustment of status, which is only available to those who are currently in the United States. So that chart B, while you're going to see that they have different dates, that is dates for filing for those inside the United States, applying for adjustment of status, that they can file their adjustment of status application. Now, for processing of the green card application itself, they're still going to review and use the final action date, priority date, to actually be able to approve the green card. So it just means that they can get their case filed a little bit earlier, but submitted for processing. So that's the difference. As most of you are outside of the United States, or if not all of you are outside of the United States, you want to refer to Chart A, the final action date. That is for consular processing. So while, the Visa Bulletin wasn't as exciting as we had anticipated for October, there are still plenty of things that you can do while waiting for your priority date to become current. And first of all, and most importantly, is don't lose hope. Your moment is coming. We didn't see retrogression go back further, so that is something to be excited and celebrate. And then while you're waiting, use this waiting period to actively prepare. If you haven't reached the stage where you can complete your DS-260 or provide your National Visa Center documents, make sure that you are, preparing those documents, ensuring that you have everything ready to go when you reach that point. Things to consider on the DS-260, you're going to have to provide your residential history, your work history. So if you've moved around a lot, if you've held a lot of jobs, you want to be kind of compiling that information and having that ready to go. Also, it's very important to continue practicing English language skills. If you haven't passed your English test yet, you want to make sure that you're focusing on that. If you have passed, continue to practice so that when your time comes, you are comfortable with your English language skills. And of course, most importantly too, we'll be continuing to gain that bedside experience so that when you're ready to interview with client facilities, you have the experience, you can nail your interview, and when you come to the United States, you're hitting the ground running. And then our full circle of support is here to guide you through each step of the process. Any questions, any concerns, we're here to support you. Just reach out to your assignee if you need immigration questions answered. Reach out to your assignee. They will work back with the immigration team to get those questions answered. And again, I'll just reiterate, don't lose hope. Your moment is coming. Stay positive. It will happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for your time today and giving us an update on the October Visa Bulletin, telling us the difference between, Table A, Table B, and also encouraging our healthcare professionals, as they wait through this process. I know our healthcare professionals that tune in love this segment and wait for this segment to come. All right. And we have a question here. Can the recording of this meeting be sent later? The audio is ceasing and my connection is strong. Yes. So seeing that you had registered for this broadcast, after our broadcast ends, you will receive an email with a link so that you can rewatch the whole broadcast. We will also be using portion of our segments to upload on different media platforms. So definitely make sure that you're on the lookout on our social media accounts for the segments that we post, but you should receive an email with a link with the recording of today's broadcast. Thank you for your question. All right. Looks like we might have a little question and answer segment. Okay, so that's the only question that we could get on right now. But nevertheless, and now I'm excited to bring back Ian, our Employee of the Month, to talk about his journey to the United States and how he has overcome some of the challenges that he faced. Now, before Ian comes on, I want to speak a little bit about his journey. So in 2006, he passed the NCLEX and the academic IELTS, taking the first big steps towards his US dream. Then post 2006, faced retrogression, which delayed his immigration and made the US dream feel out of reach. Then in 2010, he moved to Belgium, began working as a cardiovascular OR nurse. Then in December of 2022, 2010 to 2022, hired by Passport USA, that reignited his hope of working in the US and reuniting with family. Then 2023 to 2024, he was supported by our full circle of support team through licensing, documentation, travel, and relocation. And then 2024 successfully arrived and began working in the US, now reunited with family and living out his American dream. Welcome back, Ian. Thank you for joining us again today. Please unmute yourself, Ian, so we can hear you. I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. Okay.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. Happens to the best of us. Yeah, but definitely thank you for taking the time to stay on and join us again for another segment as we give you the opportunity to encourage our healthcare professionals that have to wait through retrogression a bit.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melissa. But I was just asking. I'll just tell my story so short. Since I took up nursing, I was eyeing for America because that's everybody's dream in the Philippines. If you take up nursing, and then it will maximize you as. I mean, it's not only the compensation part. It's nice to be compensated really well, but at the end of the day, the opportunity of growing in the States is so much more than wherever it is. And I failed several times IELTS, and I had a hard time of passing the IELTS. But when Passport USA helped me with their program,
Yeah.
I took it the first time, and I passed it. And before that, I failed 5 times. It's really nice
Oh,
program. It's really a nice program. I mean, I'm leaving. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, you need to sacrifice a lot, but at the end of the day, you'll benefit from it.
yeah. Speaking of the academic IELTS, we know it's not really an easy exam for those that are native, English speakers, or English is not like an official language for the country. So we do have like this really packed or robust English study program that you were able to utilize to help you to take the exam. And the good thing also about our program is that also we pay for the exam. So not only do we help you in preparing, but we help you to feel confident in knowing that someone will be covering the cost of the exam as well. So thank you for sharing, a little bit of that, your journey. Now, I do want to ask you a question, Ian. So like you said, you failed the IELTS for a bit, but America was your dream. So just having the dream, at the back of your mind, is that what inspired you to continue to push on, know how long it took you to get here?
Yes, I think so because the thought is I mean I was really comfortable in Belgium for 13 years. I was working there. They I mean we bought the house there and everything. My kids were settled out. But at the end of the day, there is something that really question at the back of my mind. Would I still continue to do it? And of course I will. And I mean Passport USA really made my dream become a reality. And yeah, I don't know.
That is so good to hear. I'm happy that we were able to be, a little bit part of your journey. And like you said, it's we helped you to realize your dream. So can you put that into like words? Like how do you feel? What emotions went through your mind when when you landed in America? What happened when you started working? And then after maybe a few months of living here, you're like, did I make the right choice? Should I leave? How was it? How did you
Yeah, I
feel
know.
when you
I
first
know
got
when
here?
when I first told my colleagues about it, they were shocked because they didn't expect that I would leave because I was there working. And they have different opinions, and people will always have their opinions. Whatever they say that it's gonna be worse, but these people doesn't really know how to live here. You know what I mean? They get opinions because of their what they see and what they hear about it. But
Mm,
for me, it was my dream to come here. And then the first few days where I was living in a very small apartment, and I really questioned myself, why did I do this? I was, you know what I mean? But at the
yeah.
end of the day, and then I mean, I was shocked with the cultures of the surgeons in the States. It's kind of shocking because in Europe
Mm-hmm.
it's different.
Yeah.
And I told myself, "Oh, I'm getting shouted at and yelled at. But it's fine. It's part. It's the stress. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was so doing well there. I couldn't. But at the end of the day, those experience that I had before helped me to overcome all those struggles and made me
Mm-hmm.
realize, oh, I've made the best decision of my life because here I can grow more. I could study further. Unlike
Mm-hmm.
in Belgium, I was limited to that kind of job. And
Mm-hmm.
there's so many aspects of nursing that you could see here in the States
Mm-hmm.
that will never offer to any other state or another country. And that's why I realized, and for my kids as well, they are happy right now. My wife has a work as well; she's a nurse as well. So it's really getting better.
Yeah. So it was worth it after all. So
Yeah,
after the
after all,
wait, it was worth it after all.
yes, it is.
Lovely, lovely. I'm happy to hear that. And as you mentioned, family, what portion of the support, that you received made the biggest difference for you in relocating, in waiting, and then finally relocating to the United States? Was it like through your family? Was it through Passport USA? Or was it like a combination of both?
It's actually a combination of both because
Mhm.
Passport USA, they are not only supporting you, you know what I mean? They are not they're so they are doing it for the package. I mean, they are not hiring you because you are a nurse and you will be here alone. So they are hiring you and move your family here, and they help you with the. That's why what's great about Passport USA, they have different kinds of person who are very expert to every aspects of the licensures and everything. So
Mhm.
I mean, with the support of that, and then plus the support of the family, you're getting stronger. You go through everything what best. I mean, good and bad in your life. I mean, in here, it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. We do try to pride ourselves in providing like a white glove service to our healthcare professionals. So, like each stage, each important step, you have a subject matter expert, like you mentioned. Like for me, I'm a recruiter. We had Ryan who talked earlier. He was like a deployment advocate who helps with that portion. And between us, there's a program associate that helps with like the filing and the the exams that are required and things like that. And then when you arrive in the United States, you also have an employee supervisor who's like Presley, who spoke earlier about the employment of the month, and things like that. And so we do have a full circle of support. I'm very happy that you were able to utilize it, and now you're now settled in the United States and striving with your family.
Yes, we are. We just bought our house last 2 months ago. Nice, and
Oh
it
my
was it.
God!
It's really exciting. I mean, we sold our house in Belgium and we bought something here. So we are kind of. I mean, it's so blessed. I mean, I couldn't do it alone. You know, I mean, I'm really thankful and blessed about it. And it's after all the
Yeah,
struggles. Yeah, it's really
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, so from hearing, all throughout your story, I'm sure it's very encouraging and empowering for our healthcare professionals here. So for like my last question, it doesn't have to be long, but just kind of give us, some words of encouragement for those that are, haven't started yet, but see retrogression as an obstacle, or those that are already in the process and, just how, my gosh, there's a wall between me and my dream. Kind of give them a little bit of encouragement, on what to expect, on in the journey.
I mean, just be patient and work hard and gain more experience as much as possible. You will need it here. And I know, as what I have said a while ago, I know I have friends also who are willing, trying, I mean, still ambitioning to go here. I mean, do the first step, like, apply for Passport USA. They will help you, and for those who are still ongoing process, I mean, I've waited for this a long time ago, but still, but now I'm here, and I am really happy with my decision, and same as well as my family. So, I mean, the totality of it is worth it after all those struggles to wait. I know it's hard to wait, but it's worth it.
It is worth it because you get to live your American dream. You got a good job, a house, your family. Woo!
Yes.
That's amazing, Ian. Congratulations on everything and also winning the Employee of the Month. Thank you again for sharing your story. It is super inspiring and so glad to see you thriving in the US and living Health Carousel's mission, which is improving lives and making healthcare work better. Thank you again for your time, Ian.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye. Well, Thank you all for joining today. I hope this live broadcast was as informative and as helpful as I thought it was. As mentioned during the beginning of the broadcast, one of our new features is a survey. You will see that on the screen now. So please take a few moments to complete this survey to provide us with your feedback from today's live broadcast. Until then, bye.